Hey guys, welcome back to Everyday Faith Day number 14. Good to be back with you guys. Thanks to Brandon for taking the time to jump in and film for a few days this week. If you don't know, I think he actually talked about it on day maybe 10 or 11, but just the challenges his family's going through. And so there's a lot happening. So we appreciate him still being a part of the community and sharing, and recording some of the videos for us. The other thing I want to jump into before we get into the devotional is if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the Faithbox app. If you're on Android or iPhone, doesn't matter. Just go to your app store and then search for Faithbox. You'll see the honey colored, kind of matches this sweater, F. And then you can download, if you are an active subscriber, all the benefits of the app are already included. If you just tag along and follow, there's still a lot of free stuff that you can get, including everyday faith videos. So make sure you download the app, join in, be a part of the community, what's happening in the conversation there. It's a great way to stay connected with our Faithbox family. And with that, we'll jump into day number 14. We have a scripture today from Psalm 145, verse 4. It says, "Let each generation tell its children of your mighty acts. Let them proclaim your power." Building a family legacy is as simple as telling your children and relatives about the mighty things God has done for you. God's faithfulness, grace, and provision are all around us. We just have to make a practice of sharing, celebrating, and proclaiming all of those mighty works to our families. Sometimes we're great at telling our children all of the rules of God, quote, rules of God, but we're not so great at telling our children about the personal wonders of God. When we share the miracles of God with our children, it does at least two things. One, it shows how God good is, and two, it cultivates expectation and anticipation that God can and will do the same thing for them. Sorry about that honking. We can paint a picture of a future that is filled with faith and possibility by celebrating the mighty acts of God from the present and the past. So here's the application at the bottom. Share a miracle of an act of God that you've experienced with someone in your family. I love this devotional and today specifically because this is something that my wife and I have sought to practice with our own daughter. Of course, we're pastors, we're starting a church. So you would say, well, that's supposed to be what you do. But the fact is, it's really simple. All of us can do this. And so with our daughter, Gia, we've just tried to keep things, really in perspective. We don't want to just be those parents that are like, hey, don't do this, don't do that. God says you shouldn't do this. God is so much more than that. And so we don't want to raise a child believing that God is just about what you can't do. We actually want to raise a child believing about what God can do. And so that's more important to us. And so we celebrate and we talk about the miracles, whether it's a financial provision through a job, whether it's, when we purchased the home and it didn't seem like it was going to be possible and, and the way was just paved and cleared out for us. We want to celebrate those things. When it's someone, we've had family members diagnosed with cancer and some have passed away, unfortunately, and others have been healed. But in that, we want to point to the miraculous that the one who did pass away was a believer. And so he's in God's presence today. And so we celebrate these things because we want her to know that God is a God of the mighty acts, of the mighty miracles, and that God is a God who cares. Like that's a legacy of faith because when she grows up, she's going to believe, as she's grown up, she's already doing this. She's going to believe that there's an expectation that God will come through for her as well. And that really matters. That makes a big difference. And so she's going to look and she's going to pray and she's going to seek God, believing that God wants to come through for her. So, you all have your own stories, right? You have your own miracles, you have your own experiences, your own breakthroughs where God has provided for you or come through for you in a very specific and clear way that's for you. So take that miracle, take that expectation and share that with someone in your family. Simply by sharing it is how we begin the process of creating a legacy of faith and a legacy of faith a legacy of faith within our families. So I hope that encourages you guys today. I'll be back here with you guys tomorrow for day number 15, and I'll see you guys then.